Good morning everybody on this day of coronation. So God save the King and all that. And if you live overseas, well, God save the King and all that. There is a bit of a story regarding this watch, so please bear with me. Firstly, I'm sure I don't need to tell you that this watch is a homage to a very old model made by a company beginning with R and made famous by Steve McQueen. If you want a good one, in good condition, be prepared to sell your house and at least one of your kidneys. Now, I originally bought a 42mm Steinhardt version with patinaed indices and no cyclops. I found the watch too large, so I sold it and bought a 39mm version with white indices with a cyclops. More recently, a few Chinese brands have decided to also homage this watch. So this made me think, I could scratch the itch and pocket some money, so why not? Of course, if you're one of those people who won't wear a Chinese homage, you may as well stop this video now. Personally, I don't mind them as long as they're well made, and believe me, this one is. For your information, Seestern is the same company as Suggest, who are known for making very nice quality watches, both of unique design and homages. This is my second Seestern, and to be honest, I've been more than impressed considering what they charge. Now, because I've owned the two Steinhardt versions, please forgive me for making references and comparisons throughout this review. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Seestern Vintage GMT. Let's have a look at the dimensions. Well, the case is 39mm, but there is 0.5mm overhang from that fixed bezel. The lug width is 20mm, the depth is 12.5mm including the crystal, and the lug to lug is 48mm. Now, once it's adjusted to fit my 17cm wrist, it weighs about 138 grams. Now, the watch wears to size, and at a quick glance it does look like the Steinhardt. And this was the box it was delivered in. It's a hard plastic case. It's foam lined. Inside there's a warranty. It doesn't say how long and it's not signed. The instructions that nobody reads. And there's my spare links, and it comes with a little screwdriver to help you adjust the bracelet. It's not premium, but it does the job. And this is my watch of the day. It's the Zelos Horizons 39, and in my opinion, Zelos's nicest dive watch to date. It has a nicely signed chunky 7mm crown, which is about 2mm larger than the Steinhardt. The Steinhardt, by the way, has got crown guards like the original. This one doesn't. It operates the movement perfectly, and the engagement is surprisingly good. The water resistance is 100 metres, which isn't as good as the Steinhardt, but it's more than good enough for most people. Anyway, I won't be going anywhere near water with this one. Where this watch falls short of the Steinhardt is the movement. Now, Steinhardt used a Sellita SW330, which is a Swiss-made high beat movement and very accurate with very little positional variance. Seestern have used a new Seiko NH34 GMT calibre. Now, although not as good as the Sellita, it's no slouch either, and is in fact the GMT version of the NH35. For this reason, I know it will be reliable and reasonably accurate. It ticks away at 21,600 beats per hour. It hacks, it hand winds, and it's got a power reserve of about 41 hours. In reality, this is running a few seconds a day fast, but let's have a look to see what the time grapher thinks. There we are, that all looks fantastically healthy, a very good beat error, a great amplitude. It says it's running at plus 8 seconds a day, and it's probably less than that. No problems at all. The crystal is a domed sapphire with some AR coating on the underside. Now, fortunately, this one doesn't have the cyclops. Also, unlike the Steinhardt and the original version, the case is satin brushed, which pleases me immensely. There is also a very nicely executed polished transition, which runs the length of the case. Now, what helps make this watch is the fixed brush GMT bezel, and the original may have been the first watch ever to have had this, but that is just a guess. The case back is plain, but requires one of those special tools to get the back off. Now, all in all, the crystal in the case is extremely well done, and in my opinion easily matches up to watches costing several times more. I've always loved this style, and that's why I keep buying different versions of this watch. That said, it isn't the easiest watch in the world to read at a glance, but neither was the original. There is a white date window at the 3 o'clock. It simply reads Seestern GMT under the 12 and 100 metres automatic above the 6. I like the fact that they went with the simple hands rather than adding the Mercedes hands, which I'm not the greatest fan of. The lume is very good for this type of watch, and I think it's old radium C3 Super Luminova. When charged, this will last most of the night and is evenly applied. Now let's have a look at that lume. The bracelet is very well made and comfortable, but a little lighter than I expected. The solid end links of the Oyster style bracelet fit perfectly to the case, and of the female variety. Now it tapers down from 20mm to 16mm, then back up to 18mm for the clasp. Now the tops of the links are brushed while the sides are polished. Like I said, it's incredibly comfortable, and for easy adjustment there's well engineered screw pins. The brush clasp is actually very good, although not signed. Believe it or not, it's got an on-the-fly adjustment, similar to that of a Christopher Ward or a Zelos, but not as good, and it's not as substantial. It's half milled, and for a watch of this price, you'll struggle to find better. So price and value for money. These are available directly from the Suggest site, AliExpress or eBay. I found the best price to be from AliExpress after some coupons were added, and it came to £193 inclusive of delivery, which only took 6 days from China. Of course, you may have to factor in the duty depending on what country you reside. I think it goes without saying that that represents fantastic value for money, especially as a Steinhardt will cost you nearly £600 if you have to import it. Of course, I do accept that the Steinhardt is Swiss made, and it does have a Swiss movement. Now there weren't any QC issues, but like any watch there are a few things I would change. Firstly, although the case back is in keeping with the original, I prefer one that can easily be removed so I can regulate it if I need to. Secondly, and maybe this is just me, I prefer the Suggest branding. Now strangely enough, the same watch is available with a different dial and hands that does have the Suggest branding, so I find that quite odd. I think the clasp should be signed, and I can't really understand why they didn't bother. Finally, the case back is a tad flat for my liking. That said, it does fit pretty good, and arguably better than the Steinhardt. Well, in my opinion anyway. There are many things to like though. I of course love the dial design, and that's why this is the third watch I bought with it. I also like the fact the case is brushed, although the original and the Steinhardt version are polished. I think it's great that the crown is larger than the original, and Seestern didn't bother with the crown guards. The bracelet and the clasp are very good, the lume excellent, and the choice of movement is spot on considering the price. In fact, the overall quality and finish of this watch is far better than most people would expect. It was a big decision for me selling a Swiss-made Steinhardt to buy this Chinese-made Seestern, but at the end of the day, other than the better movement in the Steiny, I actually prefer the Seestern. I know that may upset some people, but I'm not a watch snob, and I believe a watch is just the sum of its parts. Now that brings me to the end of this review, so if you've enjoyed it, click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave your comments below, and enjoy the rest of your day.